1. Which action best supports adult learning principles when training staff on business continuity procedures? A. Delivering content through a single lecture format. B. Providing hands-on scenario activities that reflect real incidents. C. Requiring learners to memorize the policy manual verbatim. D. Limiting learner questions to end of session only. 2. When evaluating the effectiveness of a disaster recovery curriculum, which metric is most aligned with outcome-based evaluation? A. Number of pages in training material. B. Learners' performance in simulated recovery exercises. C. Total enrollment in the program. D. Instructors' years of experience. 3. Which communication method is most effective for ensuring stakeholder alignment during a continuity planning update? A. Sending an unformatted mass email with technical details. B. Holding a structured briefing with clear action items. C. Posting updates on a general announcement board. D. Waiting until changes are finalized before communicating. 4. In regulatory compliance for continuity planning, what is the primary purpose of conducting documented risk assessments? A. To satisfy internal audit requirements only. B. To identify and mitigate threats that affect operational resilience. C. To create lengthy reports for executives. D. To delay budget approvals for continuity programs. 5. Which mentoring technique best supports new continuity planners in developing strong analytical skills? A. Assigning low-risk tasks to avoid errors. B. Allowing observation only without participation. C. Conducting guided reviews of past incident case studies. D. Requiring independent work without feedback. 6. When developing a disaster recovery curriculum, which step ensures alignment with adult learning needs? A. Reducing content difficulty to avoid cognitive stress. B. Identifying learners' existing knowledge and experience. C. Creating modules based solely on regulatory requirements. D. Limiting modules to only one delivery format. 7. During a post-incident evaluation, which finding indicates a communication failure in the continuity plan? A. All response teams reported using approved templates. B. Employees received inconsistent instructions across departments. C. Backup systems operated as expected. D. The Emergency Operations Center activated on time. 8. Which approach best ensures that business impact analysis interviewees provide accurate data? A. Restricting interviews to email-based questionnaires. B. Conducting interactive interviews with clarifying questions. C. Using only historical reports without interviews. D. Allowing interviewees to skip operational details. 9. What is the most effective way to mentor a team on interpreting recovery time objectives? A. Reading definitions from policy documents. B. Facilitating group analysis of process criticality scenarios. C. Requiring memorization of industry terminology. D. Limiting discussions to senior staff only. 10. During continuity training, which instructional method most enhances retention based on adult learning theory? A. Passive viewing of long slide presentations. B. Active problem solving in small groups. C. Solely distributing written procedures. Playing unrelated motivational videos. 11. What is the best indicator that a continuity exercise met regulatory compliance requirements? A. Attendance was high. B. The exercise objectives aligned with required standards. C. Participants enjoyed the session. D. The session concluded early. 12. Which communication technique improves clarity during crisis decision-making? A. Using vague language to avoid alarming employees. B. Providing concise directive messages with context. C. Delivering updates only after full resolution. D. Allowing multiple leaders to send independent messages. 13. What is the best way to structure a curriculum to ensure mastery of continuity lifecycle stages? A. Present all topics in alphabetical order. B. Sequence modules according to operational workflow. C. Randomize module order to test adaptability. D. Teach only high-level concepts without detail. 14. Which evaluation method most accurately measures performance during recovery testing? A. Self-reported confidence surveys. B. Direct observation of time-stamped task completion. C. Post-training satisfaction ratings. D. Counting number of planned tasks. 15. Which action best demonstrates regulatory compliance during continuity plan maintenance? A. Updating documents without version control. B. Reviewing plans annually or as major changes occur. C. Allowing teams to modify plans without approval. D. Archiving outdated plans without review. 16. During mentoring, what technique best supports developing decision-making skills in junior planners? A. Providing the correct answer immediately. B. Encouraging reflective reasoning during scenario discussions. C. Discouraging questions to maintain efficiency. D. Limiting mentees to administrative tasks. 17. Which disaster recovery metric best reflects readiness capability? A. Number of employees in the company. B. Recovery team's average time to restore critical systems. C. Frequency of non-business related events. D. Amount of printed documentation in the office. 18. When communicating with executives about continuity gaps, which method is most effective? A. Presenting highly technical details without summary. Delivering a concise briefing with prioritized risks. C. Sending raw data spreadsheets only. D. Waiting until auditors identify issues. 19. Which approach best aligns with adult learning principles when teaching recovery plan navigation? A. Providing real examples of plan use in prior incidents. B. Requiring silent reading without questions. C. Reading the entire plan aloud to learners. D. Avoiding practical demonstrations. 120. When assessing curriculum effectiveness, what demonstrates mastery of continuity analysis? A. Students can list every plan document. B. Students can correctly classify process criticality. C. Students can recite definitions perfectly. D. Students complete training quickly. Which practice ensures communication redundancy in recovery operations? A. Relying solely on email notifications. B. Using multiple communication channels with verification. C. Using manual phone trees only. D. Sharing updates verbally without documentation. 22. During a continuity exercise, which behavior suggests the training is fostering real-world capability? A. Participants ask scenario-relevant questions. B. Participants remain silent throughout. C. Participants focus on unrelated work tasks. D. Participants leave early. 23. Which regulatory requirement most influences frequency of business continuity exercises? A. Employee interest levels. B. Industry-mandated testing cycles. C. Personal preference of the instructor. D. Availability of large training rooms. 24. Which mentoring action most builds confidence in developing recovery strategies? A. Criticizing errors without guidance. B. Modeling strategy development and reviewing jointly. C. Assigning tasks with no context. D. Telling mentees to figure it out alone. 25. What is the most effective communication step when activating a recovery site? A. Notify external partners only. B. Immediately communicate the activation status to all stakeholders. C. Wait until operational teams arrive. D. Announce the activation after full recovery. 26. Which curriculum design step ensures integration of regulatory standards? A. Ignoring frameworks to encourage creativity. B. Mapping learning outcomes to required standards. C. Teaching standards only in appendices. D. Reducing focus on compliance topics. 27. What is the best way to evaluate understanding of continuity risk assessment? A. Provide a multiple choice test only. B. Require learners to analyze a sample risk scenario. C. Collect attendance only. D. Ask learners to recite definitions. 28. Which communication behavior is most effective during crisis coordination? A. Sharing assumptions without verification. B. Confirming receipt and understanding of instructions. C. Allowing uncontrolled message distribution. D. Withholding updates until outcomes are certain. 29. Which mentoring method helps new planners improve documentation quality? A. Reviewing drafts together and giving structured feedback. B. Rewriting their documents without explanation. C. Ignoring inconsistencies in drafts. D. Assigning writing tasks without guidance. 30. Which activity best aligns with adult learning principles in continuity training? A. Hands-on practice with recovery tools. B. Watching unrelated videos. C. Reading outdated case studies. D. Listening passively without interaction. 31. Which element must be prioritized when evaluating a disaster recovery plan? A. Font style of the document. B. Alignment of recovery steps with system dependencies. C. Total number of pages. D. Complexity of graphics used. 32. What is the most important communication step after a recovery exercise? A. Conduct an after-action review with documented improvements. B. Archive all materials without discussion. C. Dismiss participants immediately. D. Avoid follow-up to reduce workload. 33. Which curriculum principle ensures learners can apply continuity knowledge independently? A. Including only theoretical content. B. Incorporating applied practice activities. C. Removing scenario-based tasks. Focusing exclusively on definitions. 34. When performing a business impact analysis, which factor is most essential? A. Process owner's personal preference. B. Impact severity on time-sensitive operations. C. Number of pages in the process document. D. Level of staff seniority.